In today's video, we are checking out the EAZZE D1 1080p projector from our friends over at Aurzen. Thank you, Aurzen, for sending this out in exchange for an honest review. We're looking at native 1080p resolution, 200 authentic lumens, Dolby audio with two 8-watt stereo speakers, autofocus and auto keystone correction, intelligent obstacle avoidance, built-in streaming apps including Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, and YouTube. And the kicker is, you can find this for about $100 on Amazon. Let's go ahead and get it unboxed and take a look at the EAZZE Series D1 from Aurzen. All right, first things first is we get a quick setup guide, a little cardboard insert here. It also mentions that they do offer a separate stand for this if you're interested in that. Followed by a remote control, which has the autofocus and auto keystone correction button right up here. Then we have the 100 volt through 240 volt included power supply, an HDMI cable, the EAZZE D1 user manual, a cleaning kit with a microfiber cloth, and we get the projector itself. And as we take a look up front, we have some plastic covering the front section. We also have an easy to remove lens cap here that goes on and off quite easily. This sensor here is for our autofocus and auto keystone correction. On the left side of the unit, you'll find all of our hookups. We have headphone, audio video, USB 1 and 2, as well as HDMI in, and our DC for our power supply hookup. You also see our left speaker and fan here on the left side as well. Around the back, we just have cooling ports for our fans, and on the left side, we have our right speaker. On the bottom, you'll notice we have a universal tripod mount, as well as the ability to raise and lower the front of the projector, so you can go ahead and get it at your desired angle. And then right here up top, you're not going to really be able to see this too well because it's the same color as the device itself, but we actually have controls right here on top of the projector instead of having to rely on the remote itself. So you have both options. All right, we'll now walk through the initial setup process and we'll check out the EAZZE D1 projector in action. All right, before we get started with the setup, I wanted to show you guys what it looks like during the daytime. So you can see here I've got the windows to each side of it. We're letting in a lot of ambient light. So this is what 200 lumens gets you during daylight situations. So, I'd say it's bright enough, just barely, for daytime use, but I think you're gonna get a lot more enjoyment out of this during the nighttime hours. So we're gonna switch over to that in just a little bit. One other thing I wanna mention is you are gonna need two AAA batteries for the remote, and take a listen to the fan noise here real quick. So we got a little bit of it going on, but what do you expect for something at around the $100 price point? I'd say it's definitely manageable. All right, let's switch over to some nighttime footage and we'll run through the setup. All right, we are back. I just got my little overhead light on here at nighttime. So here is our setup process. So right off the bat, we can pick which position we want our projector to be in. So I'm gonna go with the first standard one. Then we pick our language. Then we pick our region. Then we have a data collection and firmware update notice. We'll go ahead and accept that. And then we get prompted to set up our Wi-Fi, because do remember, this does have built-in streaming services. So I'm gonna go ahead and set that up now. All right, then we get prompted to set up Netflix, which I'm gonna go ahead and skip. All right, and it looks like we're all set up with the setup wizard. Go ahead and press OK. All right, so right in the top section of the screen, we have our installed apps. So you see here we have Netflix, YouTube, YouTube Kids, etc. We also have open browser if you want to go out and use a browser and play some games there. In addition to that, we also have an app store. So if we go into this, give it just a second to load up. This is where you're going to go to load up additional apps. So you've got TikTok and Plex and a whole bunch of other ones, and you have categories up in the top section that you can pick from. And right on the remote control, we have a back button just to get back to our screen. And then over here to the right, we have some additional options, such as this app assistant. We can do screencast, we could use home share, and we can also set the projector up with a Bluetooth speaker. Now back on the main screen, if we go all the way to the top, we can search specifically for a URL on the top for the open browser. And if we go over to the right, we have our input selector, so we can pick from any of the inputs that are on the side of the projector. And if we go over one more, this brings us into our options. So we can redo the setup. We can enter into picture mode right here. So we have a bunch of different picture options like standard, custom, etc. So you have a lot of different customizations for your picture profile here. We can adjust our audio, and remember, this does support Dolby audio. So we have all of our audio options here, such as sound style, digital output mode, and we have the dialogue enhancer. So if you want to enhance the dialogue for voice, you have that option here, and as well as turning the keytones on and off. Bluetooth for pairing up a Bluetooth speaker or other Bluetooth device. network to adjust your network settings. Projection takes us back to that projection menu that was at the start of our setup wizard. And then we have manual keystone, zoom, and focus adjustments in case you're not happy with the automatic adjustment that it does right when it boots up. So you can hop into here and adjust each one of these individually. So when we hop into zoom here, we're at 100%. We can reduce it down from 50 to 100% so you can fine tune your zoom level without having to move your projector back and forth. And we can fine tune the focus as well as performing a manual focus. Back on the main screen, if we go all the way towards the bottom here, we have a bunch of items for open browser, which is a built-in browser functionality that's here in the projector. And if we go all the way to the bottom, it looks like we have a couple like over-the-air channels here. I'm not really sure what this is about, but this is at the bottom section of the menu. All right, so we got one of my YouTube videos playing. Just wanted to avoid copyright strikes. You know, I think it looks pretty darn good, especially for $100. I'd say the autofocus has done a good job getting it nicely in focus. The Keystone Correction works well. You can see the corners are all lined up nicely. Let's go ahead and take a listen to the audio. You're going to go ahead and hit next. And then it's going to give you an initial analysis. Your home Wi-Fi network is well configured, but if you don't get this message, you can go ahead and tap next. I mean, for being 2 by 8 watt stereo speakers, I think it sounds pretty good. You know, it gets a job done. So I think the audio quality is pretty decent. So all in all, for around $100 with autofocus, auto keystone correction, and built-in streaming apps, I think the EAZZE D1 is a really nice projector. I mean, we're getting a lot more tech now than what we just got even just a year ago. So yeah, thanks Aurzen for sending this out in exchange for the review. I really appreciate it. I think this is a great all-around projector, especially for those of you that are looking for your first projector. Right, if you have any questions or comments about the EAZZE D1, please drop them down in the comments section below. I really do appreciate your time, and as always, thanks for watching.